What's good, YouTube? Welcome to another reaction video. This time around, I found this very funny video. He makes a video of what Europeans think America is like. And it's very funny because it shows the stereotypes that people have about the United States. And to be fair, me as an immigrant, I lived in the United States for about 6 years. I also had some of this stereotypical, thought process until I actually lived in America.
This is what Europeans think America is like. I wake up at 8 a.m. to the sound of gunshots and violence. Then after that I have breakfast, an 18-piece fried chicken bucket with a 2-liter bottle of Coke. Then at 9 a.m. I start my daily commute from Los Angeles, California to New York City.
Right off the bat, he wakes up with gunshots and everything. And you know what's funny about this is the media are the ones that portray all this. So me, I am originally from Nigeria, and before I moved to the United States, I'd watch, CNN International, and all the other news outlets that we have available in our country, and what they show is mass shootings, violence, and all this like lack of gun control and like shootings everywhere. It's so funny because I know people that'll be like, "Oh my God." As much as a lot of immigrants, a lot of people want to move to America, there's still a lot of people that are like, no, I don't want to move to America. I'd rather move to Europe because there's too much gun crime. I might get shot, blah, 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 blah. And some Europeans feel that way. In fact, a whole bunch of the world, a huge part of the world population feel this way. Maybe aside Japan, because Japan and the US, they're like this. My very first day in the United States, I had a crazy ass experience. And I'm gonna tell you guys what happened. So I moved for film school, in Los Angeles, California. And I know a bunch of people will be like, oh, why would you move to Los Angeles? Why would you move to California? As well, in the United States, there are other states that are like safer and all that. But come on, Los Angeles is like the best place for film if you wanna, study film or you wanna grow in the film industry. And all the good film schools, a majority of the good film schools are in Los Angeles. So I moved to Anaheim. Anaheim is not in Los Angeles, it's in Orange County. I moved there for like a week. I stayed a week there because I wanted to explore Disneyland. And Disneyland is right by it's in Anaheim. So I got a hotel right by Disney. Me and my mom were chilling in the hotel room one night, and then suddenly I started hearing shots. Pa 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 pa. Stuff was going off. It sounded like gunshots to me. I was terrified. I was like, what the fuck is this? I like dive on the floor. I'm telling my mom's with me, by the way. I'm telling my mom, get on the ground, get on the floor, get on the floor. She is freaking out. I freak her out so bad, right? She gets on the floor. I'm like feeling like John Wick. I'm crawling. I crawl to the telephone as the shots keep ringing. Ta 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 ta. I crawl to the telephone. I call the front desk. I'm like, what's going on? Is this a mass shooting? What's going on? And the guy like kind of like giggled, and he said, bro, relax. It's just fireworks from Disney. Disney, they do like fireworks show every 9 p.m. Oh my God, I felt so embarrassed. Even sharing this story is embarrassing. But yeah, that was like the first day. I was like, yo, is this how I'm gonna freaking die already? The whole stereotype that everyone's shooting, obviously it's false. A lot of people in America have probably never even heard a gun being shot. It depends on where you live. If you live in like a major city, you live in like LA. LA has high crime. You live in New York and like, there are places like this. But if you go somewhere, quiet, a suburban neighborhood, that's not gonna happen to you. So from Anaheim, I moved to Burbank, California. Now Burbank is under the LA County, but it's not really LA. That's where my film school was, New York Film Academy. And in Burbank, it's mostly the older people with family. It's a very calm suburban area, so it's pretty safe. There's a lot of like film studios there, like Disney Studios, ABC under Disney. There's Warner Brothers. So it's people that work in the industry and then film school students that live around there. And I didn't really experience any crime, none of that shit when I was there. But after I graduated, I got bored, and then I switched schools. I went to study at UCLA. So I was already tired of living in Burbank. I wanted excitement. I wanted to live in a big city. So I moved to Hollywood, California. Boom, that was it. Moving to Hollywood, holy shit. I wanted to move to Hollywood because, there's a lot of baddies, a lot of girls, a lot of people my age there. But I shit you not, man. The crime is insane. Every night there's a chopper looking for some criminal. There's something going on. There's guns. There's like, it was the ghetto. And Hollywood on paper sounds pretty nice, like Hollywood, right? But that's not, if you really know about Los Angeles, you know that Hollywood is not a safe place. Yes, they have bars, they have clubs, they have nice places, but the crime is insane. It was so bad. There was a point where there's an apartment beside my apartment, really high end, high rise apartment, expensive as shit, like $4,000 for a one bedroom. And then there's a guy there. He would dress like Charlie Chaplin with a beard, or Adolf, or like fucking he dressed like Hitler. I don't know what he's dressing as. And then he goes and starts pointing guns to people at the street. It was wild. And there's a time when that same apartment, right beside my apartment, there's a guy just throwing stones at people. And then Hollywood had so many homeless people. I've literally, a homeless guy tried to stab me through my car. But yeah, when I couldn't take all that shit, I moved to West Hollywood. So the more west you move in LA, the nicer, the safer it becomes. It was pretty, not as safe, but pretty safe. My mom, my folks, they're doing well. They have money. When they come to America, they stay in like Westwood, Beverly Hills, all the nice parts. So they don't really witness the drama that I'm witnessing. But that's pretty much it. Like, it just depends on your city. See, I went to Nashville, I went to other places, Arizona and other places. They're pretty safe cities in America. They're places that you probably, if you live there, you're probably never gonna hear a gunshot. You know what I mean? So America is all about knowing where to live. The good, like LA, for example, you have to know the good neighborhoods and the bad neighborhoods. You know what I mean? Just like every country has its good and bad neighborhood. So it took me that whole stereotype that, oh, there's mass shooting and all that shit happening in America. When I started to live in America, that's when I realized that, okay, the media just gives us bad deception. It's just the same way when I'm in the US and I'm watching TV, you're gonna see like an ad of like some hungry ass African kid, skinny as fuck, and they're saying, "Oh, help donate money, contribute $1 a day so you can feed these hungry broke ass kids." Like, yo, come on, we're not all freaking broke. You know what I mean? And the news is like in Nigeria, there's like kidnapping. There's like, I live in southern Nigeria. There's no kidnapping. There's no Islamic. There's no terrorist group. None of that shit. That happens northern Nigeria. So we in the southern Nigeria. For me to even witness all this, I only see it on TV. You know what I mean? So anyway, let's keep going with the video. He did mention that the Americans sit down and eat 20-piece bucket of chicken. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, America is a land of big backs. The food sizes are outrageous. The KFC size, the KFC buckets versus in the UK versus the US, the difference is clear. Even the size of Coke, like the large Coke in the UK or Nigeria is literally the medium Coke in the US. Everything is bigger in the US, which I love that. The only problem is if you don't know how to control yourself, you're gonna grow a big back. Yeah. So let's keep going.
9 a.m., I start my daily commute from Los Angeles, California to New York City.
Yeah, because America is so big and Americans are always driving long distance, you know what I mean? And it's crazy, but Los Angeles to New York is 6 hours flight time. No way you're doing a daily commute to that. And in the comment section of this video, a lot of Americans were like, I can relate. That's how I live my life. Come on, guys. You're not doing your daily commute from New York to freaking California. America is so big, you can literally fit in Germany in Texas. And you know how people are like, oh, America don't like to travel. Americans don't like to travel. That's how I was. I used to believe that Americans didn't like to travel. But dude, do you know what it means to travel within America? It's like traveling within Europe. It's so big. From Lagos, Nigeria to London, England, 6 hours flight time. That's the same flight time from New York to California, 6 hours. Meanwhile, from Lagos to London is You're flying but two different continents. This is the same freaking country. Not even flying between continents. That's how crazy huge America is. So when people say Americans don't like to travel, I used to have that perception in my head. But Americans probably travel more miles than the average European, even though Europeans go around Europe. But like, come on. Germany to England, how long is that gonna take you? Come on, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Along the way, I drive through intense poverty and homelessness. I will do nothing about it.
That's pretty true. See, in California, you have the one of the craziest homeless. I think there's about 180,000 homeless people in California, which is insane. Which is insane. There's a place in LA called Skid Row. It's in downtown LA. I probably think they host like 15,000 homeless people. It's crazy. There's homeless people everywhere. I think it has to do with the high cost of living and all that. And like, yeah, we're not gonna do anything. We just drive by them, you know. No, crazy. They're not gonna harm you unless you get in their way. I mean, I've run into encounters with a homeless man. So one time I was walking, you know, and then this homeless guy's like, "Hey, bro, can I get a cigarette?" And I was like, "No, I don't have a cigarette." He's like, "You fucking niggers, always lying." I'm just like, I'm not even gonna respond. This motherfucker's homeless, calling me a nigga, but I got a home. You know what I mean? It's like whatever. I just kept walking. So as long as you don't look for the homeless people trouble, they're cool.
At 10 a.m., I arrive in New York City. I talk loudly about how great America is. At 11 o'clock, I decide to head down to Miami. At 11:45, I arrive in Miami. This is where I get my tan. After that, I head back to Los Angeles. It's awesome that I'm able to visit all three American cities in one day.
Yeah,
Around
right.
1 p.m., I go out to eat for lunch. I leave the waiter a large cash tip of $100. At 1:30.
Well, yes. Another thing with America is the tipping culture. That's one thing I didn't understand too. It's like, why am I tipping, bro? And then the girl I used to date, my ex, my first, the first girl I was in a serious relationship. We used to argue about this. She would get so pissed. What do you mean you don't want to tip? I'm like that and now I understand the tipping culture. Employers don't really pay the employees properly, so we have to tip them. And for me, I was the opinion that just freaking pay them properly. Why do we got to tip? And the whole thing is, yo, if you go on a date with a girl and then you don't tip, that's a red flag. She's probably never gonna see you again. That's how crazy the tipping culture is. My only issue is I will tip if delivery, maybe like I pay for like Uber Eats or something, DoorDash, you come to deliver stuff for me, I'll tip. I go to a restaurant, I'll tip. But like I'm going to pick up stuff from a pickup order. You know what I mean? Or I go to Starbucks to grab a coffee. Why am I required to tip? You know what I mean? Like why? Doesn't seem fair to me, you know? Some restaurants already calculate the tip for you. You go to a restaurant, you spend $200, they already calculate, oh, you gotta pay 18% of that as tip, you know? Which is crazy to Europeans, you know? But what can I say?
p.m., I publicly lean against the wall to rest. At 2 p.m., I get
Yeah, I noticed something about Americans too. Everyone's all leaning in line. So, for example, I'll go to the DMV. The DMV is like where you get your driver's license and the driver's license, vehicle registration. The people in charge of like driving all that shit, right? And I'm on the DMV line and I look around. Everyone's leaning on the wall. Everyone's lazy. It took me 6 months of living in America, and I'm already leaning on the wall too. Like, oh, I don't want to stand. You know what I mean? It's so funny.
my paycheck from my 9 to 5 job. I spend 60 hours a week working. I value money and status the most of anything in my life.
Yeah,
Around 3:30 p.m.,
capitalism, baby.
there's another shooting. Around 4, I discover that there's a war going on in another country. How would you ever start a war on your own continent? At 6 p.m., I have dinner, an entire apple pie that I wash down with a 2-liter of Coca-Cola.
Oh,
Then at 9
yeah.
p.m., there's an alien invasion. This seems to only happen to the important countries. And that's my day.
That's pretty much it for the video. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, if you look at it from a perspective, if you're an American, I mean, you might see some familiarity or some sincerity in this video. I ain't gonna lie, but you know, it's all funny. It's all jokes. You know what I mean? I love America. You know what I mean? Like, yo, I got a great education there. I worked there for a while in the film industry. Really, I lived in a big city, so dating was really easy for me. because it's like a melting pot. I don't know about other states. I can only talk about where I live. The only unfortunate part is that living in Los Angeles is it's not easy. You gotta be careful of the neighborhoods you go to. It's extremely expensive, expensive as hell. The rent is outrageous. When I was living in Hollywood, California, and Hollywood is not that great of a place, you know what I mean? There's a lot of crime. And for a place that has high crime, I was paying $2,000 per month for a studio or apartment. That's ridiculous. $2,000 a month in a ghetto? God damn. When I had to move to West Hollywood, I had to get a roommate because West Hollywood gets more expensive because that was a safer neighborhood for me. Not exactly super safe, but still safer. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's pretty much it for this video. What do you guys think about this video? Drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this content. And I'm going to see you in the next video.